Well, hello you whiskey lovers, and especially all you whiskey women, because I really love chatting to you. I like talking to everybody though. Right now in this video, I'm going to be tasting something I've not tasted for quite a long time, and that is a bourbon. Living in Orkney, I tend to concentrate more on island, single malt Scotch whiskies and Highland whiskies. And I have to say, I'm not really averse to a really nice blended malt as well. But it's a while since I've tasted a bourbon. And when I was sent a sample of this, I was really intrigued. So, what is it? That's what you want to know. It is the Rebel 10-year-old, so it's an aged bourbon because they do tend to be rather younger spirits. The Rebel 10-year-old aged single cask bourbon. Matured in Kentucky, well, of course, that's where all the cracking bourbons come from. Oh, I may get letters about that. Well, see how old I am. I may get messages about that. But it's where bourbon happens. So, although I haven't actually had any bourbon for a long time, there's something very instantly reminiscent on the nose of this one. Because, of course, so much of the Scottish whisky industry relies on bourbon barrels for the maturation of our Scottish produced spirit. And so you get that kind of toffee appled, orchard fruits, apples and pears, creme caramel. You get those sort of noses a lot in Scotch whiskies, as indeed I'm getting from this. But what is absolutely amazing from this whiskey is, or bourbon I should say, whiskey with an E, is the depth of the nose. It's incredible. It just goes on and on and on. And it is all those lovely sort of Parisian patisserie shop, sugary, but not in a over-the-top sweetie sort of way, but those sort of really fragrant, tarty sort of recipes. I don't mean tart as in sharp, I mean tart as a baked confection with a lovely sugary crust on the fruit. So the nose is beguiling, and incredibly so for a bourbon. Look, I don't know that much about bourbon, so if you know lots of beguiling bourbons, tell me about them. Now it is 50% ABV, so it's a big drink. It's very dry in the mouth, so it's tannic, and that could be because of the high alcohol volume, ABV, but also the barrels that have, or the barrel that has achieved this amazing dram as charred oak. So the coopers have really done their stuff, the coopers and distillers, they've worked together, I guess, and they have charred the oak in this barrel to give extra layers of flavour. Now, if you were smoking some salmon or some venison or something like this, this is the sort of barrel that you'd be after to impart wonderful whiskey flavours in the smokery afterwards. But, goodness me, oh, it's done its job with this bourbon because that flavour is incredible. Because of the tannic nature of it, it just makes you smack your lips and you want more and more and more. So a second sip. Once the palate is really kind of getting a bit more used to it. For me, it brings out, well, tart-tatin type flavours, beautiful apple pastries. There is this lovely sort of spicy, not stickiness to it, but spicy fruity notes. It's like apples that have been really beautifully baked in lots of butter, and just a sprinkling of spice to bring it out. And I'm not actually sure, even as a cook, what that spice is. Is it cinnamon? No, it's not. It's too off the wall for that. But it could be cassia bark, you know, the kind of the outside of the cinnamon. It's more savoury, and it's so satisfying. It's absolutely glorious. I don't think it would reveal any more to me with water, and I simply wouldn't want to add water to this, because it is the most glorious drink. And look, I know you're going to be wanting to move on to the next person and see what they're saying about this. This is the Rebel 10-year-old single barrel bourbon. And what I'm getting now is lovely sort of maple syrup type flavours from it, with almost a hint. Now, this is going to sound crazy until you think about Calvados and things like that. There's almost a branded finish to it as well. That's brandied, not branded. There is a real richness of spirit, which is, again, probably coming from the ABV. But I think, I know that you're going to want to go and cook your supper or put the cat out or something very, very soon. I could literally sit and nose this for ages, and very often people who are new to whiskey drinking don't realise how long you can actually keep getting to know your drink before you actually sip it. And this has got so much to give. I've never had such an old bourbon before. Before I tasted this, my top bourbon would have been from Michter's, a distillery I like very much, and I do quite like their whiskey as well. But this moves in my, from my experience, which isn't huge, although I've been drinking whiskey for a very, very long time. This moves bourbon into a whole different ballgame. Now, of course, to move someone like me to such an eloquent description, despite the pause there, of this whiskey, it's going to come at a price. And of course, sitting around in a barrel for 10 years is also going to command that this is sold at a price. And in the UK at the moment, in October 2022, you would just get 1 penny's change from £95. If you're thinking about a present for Christmas, something really special, a big event coming up with really good friends, would I spend that amount of money on a bourbon? Well, until I tasted this, I would have said I would not. But this is exceptional. And if you can get your hands on a bottle, well, I seriously suggest that you do, because it is delicious. And now there's almost banana coming through. Something a little bit tropical. This, just from that wee little bitty in there, this could go on all evening. But I won't keep you here for that long. But I hope if you go now, you'll come back soon. Thanks for watching.